Now it's showing.
Hey, y'all, how y'all doing? You know who I am. I'm the bishop. You're listening to KLR while you're watching and listening to Kingdom Life Radio, also Hype Family of Christian Business, our network, and those that will be watching on all our social media platforms. What are they? Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. I got an exclusive. Yep, today I got an exclusive. You know it's exclusive when I got to get out and do the interview. So it's an exclusive interview. I want to thank God for this dynamic woman. This is this woman right here. She's nothing but a history maker. When you open up your books and when you open up your history books, you look up under scientists, you'll see this woman right here. I have the illustrious. I get nervous when I talk to her because she's so important. I don't have too many important people here, but I can have Dr. FARIBA Assadi-Porter from the great company Isomark. Yep, Isomark. When you see all the canary stuff we've been blasting, all the little things that we do, this woman right here is the brain of this great technology. She's going to spend some time with us today to help us explain it. Also, we have the board director. Man, he's been a blessing to us. He's helping us make sure that we advertise and market this product the right way. And that's also Ron. Y'all know Ron. That's Mr. Ron Brent. How you doing, Ron? How you doing, Dr. FARIBA?
Well. I'm doing well. Thank you, Bishop.
Good. All right. Dr. FARIBA, how you doing, Doc?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you. Thank you for your invitation.
Man, listen, I'm glad that you made it. I know you took time out of your busy schedule to spend a few minutes with us, and I'm grateful for it. I want to jump right into it. And I got to list a few questions, and let's just jump into it. The canary device.
Yes.
I want everybody to hear and listen to your passion with this technology. How did this come? Why did it come? And let's just talk. Let's talk about that. Yeah.
All right. So actually, technology, my passion for technology is endless because there are a lot to discover yet about, applications of the technology. But it started all at University of Wisconsin Madison with a group of scientists who came across just by, asking a simple question, they wanted to look at one animal, in the field and pick it up and say, is sick or not. So that's where, the start of the idea came from, to really, be able to diagnose, if the animal is sick or not. But in terms of, my passion is that the applications of the technology, it can be, helping humans and animals alike, for their health and their, status of health, that can report how they're doing, basically.
Excellent. So the passion of the technology was basically you just caring about humanity and making sure that you could tell why they were sick and all that good stuff. And wow. The other question I had.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of technology out there, Doc. A lot of technology. You have the rapid tests. You have tests that in this pandemic, we're in this COVID crisis, not only in America, but around the world. And everybody has the best technology. I'm blessed to be part of the solution, and what I believe is the best solution on the face of the planet. But what's different and what makes our technology better than any other technology out there?
Mm-hmm. Excellent question. So this technology can do a couple of key, work for humans as well as animals. One is the earliest detection method, and that is what it means is that you can basically tell if animal or human is sick before any symptoms show up. And that's, there is really no technology out there, that could do that, today. Second part is allowing you to verify the response to treatment. Basically, treatment efficacy. If the treatment is correct, then Canary can report, that you're responding in the right way. So there's really no technology out there that can do that.
Right. Well, I tell people around the world, and I've told a lot of people here recently, that our accuracy rating is second to none. We have a 99% accuracy rating. Can you talk on that a little bit?
Yes. So the accuracy comes in with this, two different things. One is the sensitivity of, technology to be able to pick up, the signal where you can see if, you're getting sick or not. And so, our technology is super sensitive to, changes in body's metabolism. And the way we can basically look at that one is just by measuring very, very tiny signal, throughout, changes in metabolism. And the second thing is basically you can define that, sort of accuracy by taking measurements, repeated measurements to see and train your, device in order to pick up, accurately that, it's due to sickness or not. So there are a few levels that comes in are technical, to bring the accuracy up.
Right. I want to ask Ron a question. Ron, when you hear about the accuracy measures and how it picks that kind of stuff up from a director aspect, how do you feel? What's your thought on that, sir?
Well, I think Fariba is absolutely correct in what she said. She's a doctor, by the way. So
Yeah.
what I've understood from working with Fariba over the years, these past few years, is that the C12 and C13 parts of your body that are in the body, the C12 is 99% of the body and the C13 is 1% of the body. And when there's a deviation in any of them, it'll show in those measurements that come up. And right now, with her technology being that way, and it being patented by WARF, which is University of Wisconsin, they're actually the only ones that can utilize the fractionating the C12 and the C13 as we stand today. They're the only ones that can actually do that. So that's another thing that is so fascinating about what they have done at Isomark.
That's right.
Right. Now, Dr. Fariba, you want to add to that?
Yeah, so precisely what, Ron said. I don't want to get too technical, but yes. So the, natural abundance of carbon in carbon dioxide or in your body is 99%, carbon 12. And we don't add any isotopes to body. The natural abundance of, carbon 13 is 1% of that. And any deviation from that could report a specific type of information. So in metabolism, when you are basically making proteins for antibodies, and that's the immune, system proteins that you're building, through this sort of a mechanism, there is through healthy life, mannerism, the change is not going to be much. It's going to be very, very little, like shuffling of, carbon 13, carbon 12 if you're healthy. If you're sick, on the other hand, because you're making these proteins for antibody in response to sickness, then that's where you start shuffling more of carbon 13 and increase your ratios of this carbon 13 to carbon 12 in CO2 that you exhale in your breath. And that's where you start, seeing changes of your body due to, infection or, disease condition, basically. And that's where it's very unique.
Right. See, we market this product, this technology in this way of creating a virus-free atmosphere. And I want to move into that because the technology I found is very useful in creating a new normal. And if we don't create a new normal, I think that I think our country and the rest of the world is going to see greater numbers of infections. And then, of course, with infections, we know here in the U.S. there's over 440,000 people that has lost their life, and God bless them. Then I know there's over, what was it, 25 million that has been affected with it. And I think it's because we don't know until we brought this to the market on this side. I don't believe people really understand what creating a new normal is, or creating a virus-free environment. Can you talk a little bit on this technology creating a new normal? Can you paint that picture on how that looks like, what that looks like on an everyday situation?
So this technology in some ways is a game changer because it allows you to have your guards up. So pandemic was something that was expected for many years, for the past 10 years, by scientists, and like Gates Foundation. One of the things that was extremely frightening to people who were frontier in the infection field, especially the viral infection, has been this pandemic. And so if we had our guards up with a method that could detect infection very early, then we could basically prevent a lot of what happened during 2020. So how can this technology help in that respect? Our technology is not very specific for specific virus. So unlike some of the technologies that are coming in, they're very specific. So if you have a new sort of a variance or different type of mutations, that you hear from, South Africa or from UK, you have to have means that it can be broader, that could identify that this infection are happening. With today's work that we do, we want to basically zoom out and just have ability to have a broader range of detection, so we can pick up any kind of infection that is coming in and allow like warning to to our people to know that, hey, there's something up with your body. And with that, then you can have better decision making for prevention or treatment. And that's where normal could could fit in, just for awareness, for information that you need in order to be able to separate people who are infected from not infected, or people who are sick from non-sick. Our technology in the long term would allow to do that. Yeah.
And it
Right.
also,
Well,
at the same time, it'll also pick up the asymptomatic people that are out there.
That's right.
And right now, there is no answer for asymptomatic personnel. So
That's right.
that's another thing that makes this technology so unique, is being able to detect asymptomatic persons.
Right, because Ron, I was great to talk about that from that standpoint, because I think our involvement is allowing us to create our events safe. When we talk about concerts, when we talk about church, when we talk about sporting, when we talk about large gathering people, when we're talking about restaurants, we're talking about manufacturing. So when it's able to when you're able to control, and I use the word control lightly, but a atmosphere of who's healthy and is not healthy, I think for us it helps us increase it helps us increase a new normal, and it keeps things the same but better.
Yeah.
And so, Ron, I want you to pick up on there why it's important for people of my clergy background, my sports background, our entertainment background, our manufacturing background. Why do you think it's important for them to really take this technology seriously? And from a business side of it, can you talk to them about how that will increase it was to where increase their bottom line in the middle of a crisis.
Sure. Briefly, there is no technology today that will address the asymptomatic person. And when you're a company that is a Fortune 500 company, and you're processing meats or you're processing cars, you spend money on your employees to make sure that your employees are safe every day. And with the technology that's being used today from other manufacturers, there's a cost to every test that you take. And I believe the rapid test is one of the tests I heard about yesterday was about $30 a test. And when you spend, and that's fine,
Right.
you spend $30 to find out if your employee is sick today. But if you're at a school, you need to check those kids every day. And there needs to be a vehicle that you can check every 2 days without spending spending $30 per test to do that. That's why the technology that Isomark has is so unique, because you don't run into those types of issues. So with the new norm, sure, I think this technology is a game changer, as Lisa said. And once it is known to the public that they can spot the asymptomatic person, it will be the game changer, because it would be nice. You're not going to feel sick, but when you are sick, that means you become what they dread the most, which is you become a spreader. And that's the one thing that our
Right.
community is trying to prevent, that spreader. And we have the technology to prevent the spreader.
Right. Dr. FARIBA, I tell people every day, we got the best technology in the world. We got the next best thing since Jesus Christ.
I don't know about that one, but
one more question.
yeah. We can compare to, Jesus Christ. I won't dare doing that.
No, I'm just playing. I'm just joking. But I want to ask one more question. And like Ron was saying, there's a lot of tests out there. You got tests. And Ron, if you remember when you did our training, we talked about Hope Hicks and how they had how she had took the test, and it came back and it was a false negative. And a lot of these tests that it has, they're given false readings. And especially when you talk about the saliva test and a lot of the other these tests, can you in the most simplest form, can you, oh boy, this is a loaded question right here. Can you explain the difference between, like, for example, the saliva test or the spit test? Because I think Ron and I were talking that they, in order to get kids back in school, they got to use the saliva. And I know that our technology is non-invasive. It's a breath technology. It's an inexpensive opportunity measure to get a result that's 99% accurate. And can you simplify the difference between all those tests and our technology, in our breath technology?
So yeah, so I can tell you, the simplest, way you want to think about it is that the saliva test or the swab test and most of these other tests.
The swab test is from the devil.
Yes.
I had that done. I think the swab test is from the devil.
Exactly. It goes all the way. It's very invasive, right? And for the saliva test, these are all detecting the virus. Okay. So they're, detecting if the virus is in your body, but doesn't tell if you're infected with the virus. Okay. And so our technology is really your response to the infection. And so you can just, think about, our technology, because it's an immune response to infection. You can think about it in two, sort of simple kind of, way. One is that you're zooming out from 20 floor up and looking down. So you're looking at the forest, and you can see the forest, and there is a storm coming at you. You can see the storm coming at you before it gets to you from miles away. Okay, so that's what our technology can do. It's very non-specific at that point, but it can tell the storm is coming at you. It can also, with more training, it can also tell you very close by at the same level standing there, and you're in the middle of a storm. It can tell you what kind of a storm it is and what severity of the storm it is. So it can give you very sort of like specific information as well as very non-specific information. So twofold that it can provide you information. With saliva, when you were basically talking about false negative, the problem with saliva is that, first of all, you have to expose yourself for minutes, at least for 5 minutes. You're spitting into a device. Meanwhile, you're exposing yourself to environment, longer period of time, and you have opportunity to pick up virus during that time. Second, in terms of the, sort of like detection, if there aren't enough of virus in your saliva, you can basically misinterpret as negative, right? So you can, like basically say the person is not infected. But if you allow a few more days, the exposure and the number of, virus increase, then starts getting into your immune, sort of system, and start, getting more and more intense. That number increases during that time. However, when your immune system is being exposed at a very low amount, it's still doing some challenging, sort of interaction, and starting to report, of being exposed to foreign, objects. And
right.
so because we can look at, those carbon 13, carbon 12, metabolism, and your metabolism shift, that's where, our technology become very powerful, because before any symptoms come on, we can basically say your body is, trying to fight,
Fight some, right,
some kind of
right,
yeah.
right. Let me, Ron, do you have anything to say? You want to add to that at all?
No, actually, FARIBA said it the best, and I think that was right on target.
Yeah, excellent. It was excellent. I got one final question. Well, I got a series of final questions, but it's really one final question. Dr. FARIBA, I wanna ask you, you're a scientist, and God has blessed you tremendously with wisdom and insight. And for our viewers and our listeners, what's your forecast for the next 12 to 14 months? From a scientific point of view, what do you see how things is going to shape? How things are shaping out, or what's coming, or anything that you think we should be alerted about. Yeah.
Right. So we are still not out of the woods. Obviously, we still have plenty of work to do. We still have to, inoculate and vaccinate a lot of people. Meanwhile, hope that, everybody goes for that vaccination, so we can basically break up these sort of transmission of virus. But even in that case, my sort of, thought is that we have to be as careful as possible. We have to, each one of us, is responsible for, our own health, to do the preventative, measures that, as best as we can, because we still don't know a lot about this virus. There are still a lot of, sort of discussion in scientific, community about, other mutations that would be emerging during this period of time that we are waiting. So we want to be as careful as possible to have the best measure for, keeping our bodies, from becoming infected. So early, like sort of a detection would be really helping, a lot of people. And even though, you can basically separate and not, being specific, is still a good thing, that, we all can get tested in a very easy, manner, in a green manner, so we don't, end up, making our environment so dirty with all this plastic that, we're producing all the kits that, we have to basically make, and all of those things. So the lesser fuss about, measurement, the better it is. Obviously, we're going to be having a lot of learning about, the measurements and the responses. So overall, I think, the next couple of years is going to still be, I would be, cautious and look, further away from other types of pathogens that might be coming through, like, fungus. There are some resistant fungus that, is coming through in hospitals that's going to be very, big. And that's going to be bigger than, viral kind of, infection. So I would say we're not done with this, war against, COVID. And there is going to be new other types of, viruses and bacterial and fungus, coming our way. So the more careful we are, and the more compliant we are with, what we receive from, WHO or Dr. Fauci is, where we're going to basically, listening, because they get the data, they know what's happening, day to day, more than, the common people, and better than the news, newspaper. So I would definitely listen to our scientists and understand, their view and follow up on their advice.
Amen. Amen. Thank you for that wisdom. Well, I want to thank you and Dr. Ron for your time.
Thank you.
It's been our pleasure, and I learned even more today. And I pray that our viewers and our listeners take what you've given them and take it to heart. Our goal is to make sure that we create a better than normal by creating this new normal. We're working hard to help be the solution by creating a virus-free environment, and it can be done. We have the tools and the resources to get it done. I want you, at the end of this, there will be some information how you can get a hold of us. And on behalf of KLR, Height Family Christian Businesses, Height International Basketball Association, and all the other stuff we do, we want to thank you, Dr. Fariba, for being our friend and partnering with us to help bring a real change.
Thank you so much.
And we also want to thank Mr. Ron. Mr. Ron has been he has trained us on the do's and don'ts of this great technology. So Ron, we thank you as well.
It's been my pleasure. It's been my pleasure to work with Fariba. That's my teacher. So
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much.
All right. I guess we can sign out.
All
right.
May the grace of God and the sweet communion of the Holy Ghost rest upon each and every one. Goodness and mercy follow you all the days of your life. And I guess I'm signing out too. I am Bishop David Stewart. I'm here with Kingdom Life Radio, where we live our faith effectively. All the information that you need would be in our feeds and the emails and all that good stuff, and you'll be able to get in contact with us. Listen, God bless you. I'll talk to y'all very soon. May God bless.
Thanks. Thanks, Bishop. Thanks, Fariba. That was great.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.